I've got 4 NBA player props on tap for today's NBA betting slate. So you're definitely going to want to tune in and check out these player props. We got 4, 2 of which are of the plus money banger for today, Friday, November 17th. I will admit, so far this year, the NBA season has been very hit or miss. I started the season very hot. Then I went on a brutal cold streak. Since then, it's basically been up and down. Every time I think I am starting a new hot streak, I have a day like yesterday where I went 0-2. The day prior to that was awesome. I went 3-1 on my picks and was one Jason Tatum point away from going 4-0. So to start the season, I just haven't been able to quite find my stride. As I mentioned, yesterday was 0-2, down 2 units. That brings our total results to slightly down 0.1 units on the year with an ROI of 0.12%, highlighting just how break even it has been. Don't look at the win-loss record in terms of scaring you off because A, it's all about profit and loss. It's not about win-loss. And I started off the year giving out very, very plus money odds, like plus 300 and above. So you hit one of those 3 and you're profitable. I switched that up a little bit to be a little bit safer as I'm just trying to find my footing, as I have not quite been able to replicate the same success that I've had for football and baseball. Hopefully that starts today. So if you want to ride with me, follow me along on this journey, you can. I would appreciate it if you could subscribe. Then also like the video, comment, let me know your thoughts, good, bad, whatever it may be. And let's get into today's picks. So the first one that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is in the 76ers versus Hawks game. And we're taking Trey Young over 9.5 assists. This is at minus 108 odds at Caesars. So Trey Young and the Hawks quietly been pretty good year, especially for Trey. He's averaging just about 11 assists per game. He's averaging 10.9. Now, I will admit, if you look at Trey's recent stats, he's gone over this in 2 games in a row, including 17 last game. That honestly makes me more nervous than it does backing him. But because of the matchup against the 76ers, I do think that riding with Trey is the play here. The Sixers are in a little bit of a cold streak, but in general, they get killed by these small, jittery pass. I mean, Trey Young's a good scorer as well, but also a good passing type of point guard, right? Point guards that can penetrate, that can draw the defense in and then can dish it out, whether it's to Capella or a lob or out to a shooter, whatever it may be, the Sixers get killed by these types of players. The recent example of this is playing against Tyrese Halliburton. Not quite the same player as Trey Young, but they're very similar. They've got deep range. They're also very good passers. In those 2 games, Tyrese Halliburton had a combined 32 assists and 0 turnovers. In those 2 games, he had 17 assists and 15 assists. That's insane. Now, Tyrese Halliburton is an awesome passer. But so is Trey Young. So I do think those situations are comparable. It's not every single point guard kills the Sixers. It's this specific type of point guard, and it's because of the way they play defense, especially the fact that they're going to have 2 of their better wing defenders out in this game in Kelly Oubre and Nicholas Batum. Relatably, talking about how Trey Young kills the Sixers, last year, the Hawks and the Sixers played 4 times. Trey Young went over 9.5 assists in 3 of those 4 games, averaging 12 assists in those 4 games as well. Trey consistently kills the Sixers. In one of those games, he had 20 assists, which is crazy. So I really like Trey Young to go over in this one. Definitely one of my favorite plays. One of my 4 favorite, because that's what we have. That's number 1, the Trey Young over 9.5 assists. Next up, in the Rockets versus Clippers game, we're taking Alperen Şengün, 20 plus points, plus 180 odds at FanDuel. So this is one of our plus money banger pumped up player props. The Rockets, kind of similar to the Hawks, but I mean, even more impressively, are quietly also good this year. They've won 6 straight after starting 0-3. And Şengün specifically has been awesome for the Rockets. They had a train wreck of a season last year. They basically didn't even resemble real cohesive basketball. You'll see more cohesive basketball, a team playing more together, if you just go to your local outdoor court and watch pickup. Because of that, Şengün was not in a position to succeed. That's not his type of basketball. He's not a your turn, my turn, I'm going to get mine type of player. He plays within the framework of the offense. This year, he has been able to do that, and he's been awesome. So the 20 plus points is a number that he's only hit in 3 of 9 games so far this year, but in 3 of those 6 games that he missed, he scored exactly 19, so he's hovering right around there. His main line is 17.5. That's a number that he's gone over in 6 of 9 games. That's very nice. He's also been playing well recently. He scored 20 plus points in each of the last 2 games against the Pelicans and the Nuggets. Now, again, that recent success honestly makes me a little bit more nervous than anything, but similar to the Trey Young one, I do think that this matchup dictates a plus matchup, a plus play for Alvin Shelden. The Clippers' rotation, they're just so banged up. Plumlee's out, and they're going incredibly small with the acquisition of James Harden. They're basically playing Harden and Russ together. That's a small, not a great defensive lineup. Then PG and Kawhi, who are great, and then Terrence Mann. That is a very small lineup. And even if you add PJ Tucker in there, it's still pretty small. What that means is they get killed by the team's opposing centers. Now, not every single center is going to be a scoring first type of center. But if you just look at raw stats, 7 of the last 9 centers that have played against the Clippers have gone over their point total over under. That shows a lot of success. Now, some of them are lower point totals, but they're still having more success than projected. That also includes Jokic putting up 32 against the Clippers in their last game. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that Shengun is Jokic. We also only need him to get 20 points as opposed to 32. So I really like him to get there in this one. For plus 180 odds, I do think the value is there as well. That is our second play. Next up, third pick of the evening, Pistons versus Cavs. We're taking Osar Thompson under 25.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. So it's our only fade play of the evening, fading Osar Thompson, taking him to go under his projected points, rebounds, assists. Now, as a player, I actually really like Thompson. I think he's quite good. He's a very good player. He shows pretty good feel for the game as such a young rookie, but I do not like him in this particular matchup. For starters, this does fall in line with my general player prop strategy that worked wonders last year, which was fading recent events. Osar Thompson has gone over this number in 3 straight games, including 34 the last game they played. And again, those situations I generally like to fade. And also this matchup is one that I like for this under, so I dislike it for Osar Thompson. The Cavs defense has been hit or miss to start the year, but they also haven't been healthy. Now that they are finally starting to get healthy, they are also showing signs of being the top defense that they were last year. Last year, they were literally the #1 defense in the NBA according to net rating. This year, now that they finally have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley playing together, they're a very good defense, and they're just tough to deal with inside. It's not a great matchup for someone like Osar Thompson, who can't shoot, who needs to have his game inside. The Pistons, they have a ton of injuries, which means they have basically no shooting, especially in their starting lineup. Just leads to really clunky offense without a lot of spacing. And because Thompson himself is not a shooter, he can't work in those tight conditions. So I think that this is going to be a pretty gross game for the Pistons. I also think the fact that he's coming off of 21 points makes a lot of sense for him to struggle in this one, because that was against the Hawks. Now he has a much harder matchup against the Cavs. So I think the under is the play here. His point total over under is pretty low, 13.5, 14.5. So I like adding up the points, rebounds, assists, because I think it's just a tougher game for him in general. That's our third play. Lastly, fourth and final pick of the evening. This is in the Lakers versus Blazers game. Austin Reeves, 15 plus points, plus 130 odds at FanDuel. Now, Reeves had a rough start to the year. People were saying it was because he was tired coming off of playing for Team USA over the summer. Regardless of whatever it was, he just didn't look right. But now he's starting to play better. That does also coincide with him coming off of the bench, but it doesn't matter as long as he is playing better. That's the most important thing. Now, recently, his most recent game, I should say, admittedly, was not a great game. He only scored 9 points in that game. But prior to that, prior to their last game, he had scored 15 plus points in 6 of 7 games. Now, looking at his entire season as a whole, Reeves did not score 15 or more points at all in the Lakers' first 4 games of the year. Since then, he has hit it in 6 of 8. That includes last game in which he did not hit it. So the pretty good recent success for him. With the Lakers in general lacking spacing on offense and needing players to be able to shoot around LeBron and AD, they need someone like Reeves to get going, so it bodes well for them that he has been able to. Now, looking at this specific game, both LeBron and Anthony Davis are currently listed as questionable. So if one or if both of them are out, that would lead to increased usage for Austin Reeves. The most important one for Reeves to go over would be if LeBron is out. So you are going to want to look at that one pretty closely. LeBron's missed 1 game this year that Reeves has played in. Reeves scored over 15 in that one. Dating back to last year, Reeves has scored 15 or more points in 7 of the last 10 games LeBron has missed. Now, if you look at data with both LeBron and AD missing, it's a smaller sample size, only 4 games, 2 of which Reeves has scored 15 or more points. He did score in the most recent 2. He scored 19 and 24 in both games that they missed. So we'll have to see the injury report. Regardless, even if both end up playing, I like it with Reeves. If they end up missing, I like it even more for Reeves, especially if LeBron is out. Rounding out our 4th and final pick of the evening. I put 1 unit on all of them individually, and then I put a small amount on a parlay as well. If we can get one of those undefeated days like we did have last week, it helps a lot putting them just a small amount on the parlay. So if you're riding with me, make sure to comment and let me know. Other than that, remember to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.